Hi, this is Giovanni Lombardi with Professorit.com. Welcome to the Intermediate Guitar Program. So, what we did so far for the beginners program, I just gave you a bunch of chords and strumming patterns. But for the intermediate level, it's time for you to become a bit more active in the learning progress. So, what I have here, I have three major shapes. And when I say shapes, I'm referring to the shape of your left hand. Okay? By learning those movable shapes, you'll be able to play many chords, all the chords you need to play. So let me point your attention to how those shapes works. There is a main note which is called the root, and that note is circled. We'll refer always to the major root. And then we'll see in the following lessons how I'm going to be squaring the root, because that will refer to a minor chord shapes. So keep that in mind. Note in the circle is major. Note in the square is minor. Okay? So let's work on the first shape. You should be familiar with this because you had to play F major for the beginner class. This shape will look like this. Okay? Now, you can move this around up the fretboard, and of course, the root note will change, but not the quality of the chord. This chord shape, will be always major. For instance, here, we are playing F major because this note right here is F. If I move my hand up one fret, this note now is F sharp. So I'll be playing F sharp major. Now I'm on the third fret. This note here is G. So I'll be playing G major. And so on. I will show you the entire fretboard map in a second. But let's move to the second shape. This shape has the major root on the fifth string. So the shape will look like this. Now my main note is here on the fifth string. In this case, I'm playing B major because this note is B. So if I move up one fret, I'm playing C major. If I move up another fret, I'm playing C sharp major. One more, D major, and so on. There is another shape that is, widely used, and that shape has the root on the fourth string. Of course, there is two axes here. It means not to strum now the sixth and the fifth string because they will be open. So they will create a wrong sound to the chord. Let me play this shape for you, right here. And I want to point to your attention the fact that I'm using the first finger to play a small bar across the second and first string. So one more time. This chord shape in this specific position is G major. Why? Because the note played by my ring finger, the root of this chord shape, is G. If I move up one fret, it becomes G sharp major. One more fret, A major, and so on. So I'm going to put on the board the complete map of the fretboard, and I'll be right with you in a second. Okay, you guys, this is the complete guitar fretboard map. Now, of course, you can find it online, you can download it, and my suggestion to you is that you should do so. What it is showing you every note there is on the guitar up to the 12th fret, okay? As you can see, in open position, these are the notes we are playing. E, A, D, G, B, and E. On the 12th fret, one octave higher, we are playing the very same notes. Okay? So you need to have this from now on. You need to use it because every one of these notes can be used as a root, and we are building a chord on that specific root. So it's very important that you understand that each note on each one of those strings can be used as a root, okay? The root is the main note of a chord. I also want to point to your attention that certain notes, let's take this one for instance, F sharp or G flat. Well, as you can see on the fretboard, the very same note can have two names. Now, I'm not gonna get into theory, but I just want you to understand that F sharp or G flat is the same note. So if you have to play at G flat major, well, you can call that F sharp major. Is the same thing as far as your left hand is concerned. Okay, we are talking about hands on the guitar here. Okay, so now keep this in mind, print it out, have it pretty handy next to your notes, and let's move on to the chord progressions for this week. Okay, you guys, so we're gonna be working on this chord progression, but now we're gonna use this new approach. I want you to be active and choose one of those 3 chord shapes I give you to map out these 4 chords. Now, what is the logic behind it? Well, you should choose a shape that is the most comfortable for you. So let's choose, for instance, the first shape I showed you, the one that has the root, the major root on the 6th string. So where would I be playing A major with that specific shape? The answer is on the 5th fret. Here it is. Now, I could use the very same shape to play the next chord, but that is gonna bring me up to what fret? Let me hear it. The 10th? Right, up here. Is that a practical choice? I don't think so. You know, think that you have to play on a beat and you have to move your hand up. So it's gonna make it a bit hard for you. So the logic is this. The next shape should be the one that is gonna allow you to play on a fretboard that is nearby the chord you just be playing. Okay, so you're on the 5th fret, playing A. The shape I'm suggesting you to use is the second one, the one that has the root on the 5th string. Why? Because D is right here, on the 5th fret. So you don't have to move your first finger, which is the most important one. So you'll be playing A here, and then D here. Okay? Now, the next chord is G. Again, you can choose any one of the 3 shapes I gave you, but which one is the most practical choice? That has to be the main guideline here. The most practical choice is to go back to the first shape and play, therefore, G major here on the 3rd fret, and here is your G major. Last chord, C major. What's the logic? The most practical one, okay? So choose the second shape and play C major here on the 3rd fret. In other words, your hand is only moving, you know, is only going from the 5th fret down to the 3rd fret, and will, by changing chord shape but leaving the bar finger on the strings, will allow you to play those 4 different chords. So I'm gonna put the metronome on, okay? And I'm gonna be playing this chord progression with this strumming pattern, and that is your homework. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, and 4, and change D major, change G major, change C major, back to A, change, change, and change, and stop. Okay, you guys, so get this progression done and we can move on to the next segment. This is Giovanni Lombardi at professoric.com.